All right, welcome back to Sensation. I got my best video for you today, I think. I'm going to teach you guys and gals why I go to garage sales, estate sales, moving sales, you name it, even thrift stores. Because sometimes you find, you'll find little stuff like the monitors I showed. I got 2 monitors for free at an estate sale. Found a thrift store monitor for $20. I got it set up in my triple screen, but none of this even comes close to comparing to what I scored at a moving sale this weekend. You're going to be blown away. And the price I gave for it, most of you are going to call me a liar, but it happened. It was a moving sale. They were moving out of state. The guy was a tinker on computers, and let's just say he had a yard sale mother load. So let's get started here. 2 brand new EVGA 500 watt power supplies. Brand spanking new in the box. You can see what he was asking for them. 2 500 gig Western Digital green SATA drives. Old style drives, good for storage. 3 500 gig Samsung Evo SSDs. I think one of them might be a 250, we'll see. But there's the second 500 gig 850 Evo. And then, of course, the third 500 gig 860 Evo. So 5 hard drives in total, 3 being solid state drives, not counting what were in the computers I bought. So let me introduce you to the first system here. This is a old RAID Max case, I believe. The case was mostly complete, but it was apart. So I took one of the Samsung Evo hard drives and I put it in this unit. And it's hiding somewhere in there, bolted in, right down there for my SATA drive. But this is an old AMD Athlon. Here's one of the new 500 watt power supplies up there too. So you can probably see that. We're just in a bad spot here. There's one of the new 500 watt power supplies, EVGA, hiding right there. You're looking at an Athlon times 2. So, or no, actually single core Athlon. I'm sorry, it's not even a dual core. It's a single core Athlon with 2 gigs of RAM in it. Got the SSD in it. I threw my 9800 GT graphics card in it. I put a case fan in the back. But this is a working unit. I put the motherboard in it that come in a box over here. So I got a box of parts here. And it's just random stuff like old IDE drives, the old Gateway 2000 keyboard, which is very nostalgic to me. I'll get into that and tell you why. There's even some old drives and boards in here, modems, and you name it, from 56K modems to old graphics cards and all kinds of stuff. So that's what's in this box right here. I don't know what's in this one. Oh, whole bunch of old IDE cables, ribbon cables and stuff, network cards and stuff like that. So there's a whole box of that. He was probably an IT guy, if I had to guess, to have all that stuff. But this old Athlon is nothing. Again, these are just the tip of the iceberg. If you see a mini PC sitting there, it was in it, and this other mini PC right here was in it. So we scored all this for a $100 offer, and you will not believe what we scored when we did it. So this computer, honestly, is old, and I wouldn't recommend this for any new games, but if you want to do nostalgic gaming, it would be fine for that. I went ahead and set it up, got the power supply in it, the hard drive in it, and I loaded Windows XP on it so I could show you guys and gals that the first one works. And we're going to test all 3 of these to see what we come up with. So we'll hit the power button there. And we're going to watch this screen and see what we come up with here. Right there's the BIOS screen. Oh, and I got other news for you because I just got a text message that I've been waiting on. But we'll get to that in a minute. It's going to be busy here at SimStation. This PC I'm building for myself for nostalgic gaming. I don't know if I'm going to keep XP on it. I just loaded XP on it. I don't know if I'm going to keep XP on it or go to Windows 7 where I can still get a antivirus that works. I can't get an antivirus that'll work on this one, but for my nostalgic racing PC games, that none of that's going to matter. But if we go to my computer, system information right here, and pull that thing over, and you see we got an AMD Athlon 64 processor. There you go right there. So AMD Athlon 64 3200 plus with 2.5 gigabytes of RAM. So maybe we had 2.5. There might be a 1 gig stick in there. We're running Windows XP Professional. Service Pack 2. I haven't upgraded it to Service Pack 3 yet. But I will, and I think there might even be like a, I think it's Windows 7, they got a Service Pack 4 for that is officially unsupported, but it works. I haven't got the network or anything driver set up on this yet. I literally had just loaded Windows XP on it. I put an Asus drive that come with this setup. It's an old Asus IDE DVD drive, but you can see it right there. It works good. I put that in it. The old RAID Max case still has a floppy drive. How long's it been since you've seen one of them, right? Missing a cover right here for the USBs and the FireWire 1394 port, but not a big deal. I do have the side panel for the case over here. I just have it off so I can show you this stuff. I mean, I can't believe the deal I hit literally for $100 at that yard sale. And this is just the first unit I want to show you. I'm keeping this one. This is my nostalgic build. I told you I wanted an old PC to run some of the old racing games I have. And I can set up a whole rig because I still have the old wheels and pedals to do it. But, I mean, I have a stack of CDs, including my old NASCAR games and dirt track racing and you name it. I mean, I got all kinds of old games on CDs. My Silent Steel game, I have all kinds of them on CD. And I wanted to do a nostalgic build. But if you look and start looking at some of these nostalgic parts now, the prices are going through the roof on them. When I say that, I mean, this computer is probably not worth $10 to most people because you're not going to game on it in 2025. But I'll be darned if you can't play your nostalgic games on it. And that's why I got the old floppy in there, and I got the old DVD drive up there. I mean, that's why I did it. I wanted a nostalgic build, so it worked out perfect that this motherboard and case and these power supplies and hard drives and stuff were in the lot of parts that I bought. And for $100, guys and gals, we're going to flip some stuff and we're going to make a little bit of cash too. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. So this is the first of the PCs, and you can see it working on Windows XP right now. So that's definitely Windows XP, and this is the first one. And one of the two power supplies that we got separately. So keep that in mind. That second box down there is empty, but this one is still wrapped up and sealed. Brand new 500 watt power supply. Boy, I sure could have used that a week ago, right? When I just went out and bought two brand new ones, and I got two brand new ones sitting right here. So these hard drives right here, they'll go in future builds, but man, you just can't beat. Heck, I would have given $50 just for the hard drives, and I'm not going to lie, and most of you probably would have did the same thing. That stack right there with those 3 hard drives, or the 5 hard drives total and the 2 power supplies, I would have easily give $100, $150 for that used all day long. And probably most of you guys and gals would too. I would have paid up to $50 or $60 for a nostalgic build like this though. I'm not gonna lie. So I scored all this for $100, and I got 2 more pieces to get up here and test, and I don't want to take the whole video up, but let's go ahead without further ado and get to the next pieces. Alright, here is build number 2 right here. This is where things start to get even better. So that graphics card down there that come in this deal is a Zotac 1066 gig card. This has a Seasonic 520 watt power supply in it. It had a DVD drive in it as well. You can see it right there. Mini PC case. You guys and gals have probably seen these minis before. It's a little bit older because you can tell by the floppy slots right here, and then USB 2.0, of course. That is going to be a 3rd generation Intel motherboard with a Xeon E3-1230 processor, I believe, which is a 4-core 8-thread. This one only has 8 gigs of memory, so it's going to need some upgrades to sell it and make it modern, but it'll still play modern games. And of course, another Samsung Evo hard drive hiding back in there, if you can see it. Bolted in right here. The Thermaltake cooler I paid $13 for on Amazon a couple of days ago because he tried to put, well, I'm thinking of that. Somewhere around here I have a liquid cooler that goes with this too, a Corsair. So he tried to fit this Corsair liquid cooler in this little mini case right here, and you can't fit the radiator in there. There's just not enough room for it. So I went back air-cooled, run 120 millimeter fan in the front, 90 millimeter in the back. So let's hit the power button so we can look at the full specs and see if it works or not. And I probably need to turn the switch on first. Yes. And then we'll hit the power button, and you see it light up right here. And there's the Thermaltake cooler spinning. That little cooler actually keeps this Xeon pretty cool. So I've done some testing and stuff. Here's our boot up. I reloaded Windows on these to not show anyone's personal information from their stuff. So if you see Windows on it, Windows 10 load right up on these, or Windows XP or 7 or whatever, it's because I did it. When I tested the PCs, I made sure that I'm not showing anyone's personal information. So here's our second one. We're going to go to the specs real quick. And you're going to see that we have a Xeon E3-1230 V2 at 3.3 gigahertz base. 8 gigs of RAM right there. And we'll close that out. We'll go to the device manager. Oh, we still need to put some drivers in it. Display adapters. There's your GTX 1066 gigabyte right there. And you can tell it's NVIDIA because we have the overlays up over here. But this computer, go back to the device manager. I'll show you it's a 4-core 8-thread. I would say that this being a 3rd gen, this is equivalent to like an i7 3770. You see the 8 threads all right there. But I'd say it's equivalent to an i7 3770. I would feel more comfortable putting 16 gigs of RAM in this, so I may put a little bit more money in it just to do that. I mean, I've already got another $13 in a CPU cooler, so it probably wouldn't hurt to go on eBay and find some DDR3 RAM for this and take it up, maybe 4 gig sticks and get it up to 16 gigs. I just don't have the RAM for it. This motherboard is very strict. It's an ASUS board, and it'll support 1066 or 1333 megahertz. It won't support 1600 megahertz of RAM. So this one's picky on the RAM. But we'll try to get it upgraded to 16 gigs and get a quick flip out of this one. It's a $200, $250 gaming PC all day long on Marketplace, and it'll give somebody a great deal. And you can see that it works really, really good. We'll go ahead and load Specky up so you can look at the temperatures over here of what this little thing's running at. One thing about mini PCs is you don't have a lot, these micro cases, you don't have a lot of cooling options. But you can see we're, what, 36, 37, 24, 31, 32. So it's cooling nicely, and it doesn't ramp up that high even when you start bench testing this and putting a load on it. So this thing actually runs pretty good, and it has pretty good having benchmark results as well. But this was our second one, and you tell me that this, I mean, the only thing I put on it was the CPU cooler. But in trade, I literally got the liquid cooler, the Corsair liquid cooler. So you really can't say that I got money in a CPU cooler when I got a really nice Corsair, like brand new over there. So I'll call that a trade out. But PC number 2, just being a 3rd gen Intel, the 8 gigs of RAM, the Seasonic 500 gig hard drive. I mean, this right here, I'll probably get $250 out of this. If I go to 16 gigs of RAM, I might even get $300 out of it. So I'm making money now. I mean, the first PC here, I'm making money on. So we scored big at the yard sale for $100, and we're not done yet. We still got another one to go over. All right, the third and final PC is another mini case. This one is a newer one. It's got dual USB 2.0 and dual USB 3.0 ports on the case. A lot more cooling option in the front. This one's all open, so the fan will pull in the air. You can see your audio and stuff, and of course the Asus Blu-ray drive right here. So if we go around to the side, you're going to see a much larger graphics card. That's going to be a 1070. I don't know if you can see it up there. There you go. EVGA GeForce GTX 1070 card. So it's an 8 gig card. Another Samsung Evo hard drive hiding in this one. This one's sitting sideways down here on the bottom. 500 gigs. Just a stock Intel CPU cooler hiding back there. A 500 watt EVGA power supply. So just like one of these new ones in the box here, so we know that guy liked the EVGA. He used good quality components in these builds. None of them were cheap components. This one was complete. It already had the fans in it. The only thing with the two mini PCs is the graphics cards were not in them. So the 1060 and 1070 were not in them. The other one I showed you, the CPU cooler, wasn't bolted in either for obvious reasons that it wouldn't fit. This guy here, though, was missing the graphics card, but all the cabling was plugged in. The cabling was not plugged in on the other one. This one surprised me the most when I put the graphics card in. And this is literally, I literally just put the graphics card in this one and loaded Windows 10 on it and noticed that it worked and didn't do anything else. So we're going to make sure it's on. We're going to hit this power button right here. And this one was the gold mine. Let it boot up real quick. You already see that it's lighting up with an Asus motherboard. We're loading in the Windows 10. You're not going to believe this one. I didn't. I guess it was doing some updates too. I don't know. But there we are. We're booted into Windows now. You can see it setting up the Razer Naga mouse, so you know that I'd literally just loaded Windows on this. Literally. And did a slight test to make sure it works. So let's take a look at what we got here. This one, we have a 7th generation i7 7700 CPU with 16 gigabytes of RAM. You can see it right there. I put the Windows 10 Internet of Things Enterprise LTSC on this. That's what I do with all these that don't support Windows 11 now. But an i7 7700 CPU. So we got a 7th gen Intel system sitting here. We go to the device manager. Take a look at this. Your display adapters, of course, is a GTX 1070 8 gig model. Processors right here. There's your i7 7700 4-core 8-thread processor. 16 gigs of memory. This one specs nicely. So we're going to go to Nova Bench because we compare these scores. And I've already run one on it, so I got a score to show you for it. So that's the nice part. So a couple of days ago, you can see we scored a 1591 on Nova Bench, a 910 on the CPU, 334 on the GPU, 89 on the storage, and 258 on the memory right there. So if I did any upgrades to this, it would obviously be the memory, but this is a really good medium. You can see this system ranks higher than 64% of all systems tested here on Nova Bench. Little power consumption warning right there, but that's probably nothing, honestly. Maybe it's sucking a little too much, little more power than what they want. I really don't care about that. It's got a 500 watt power supply, which is plenty for this kind of build right here. But 3 computers overall. This one and the other mini are flips. I'm going to ask probably $350 for this one, probably $250 for the other mini, the 3rd gen. The 7th gen I'll go $350 or $400 on, and they're worth it. They really are. This is still going to be a pretty solid build for you. You see all the USB 3.0 ports on the back of that little micro ATX Asus motherboard. And then, of course, you got the two USB 2.0 here. This one is riding with a Samsung 250 gig hard drive down there. I'm going to swap that out for one of these 500 gig Samsung drives here and get the 250 out of there. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and add one of these Western Digital drives into it. So that will give it a terabyte total. You'll have half of that on a SSD and then another half on that. So I think that'll work well for that unit. But maybe a little more cable management on it before I send it out the door. But this one we're not going to see around here because I'm going to quick flip this and at least get my $100 back and start moving forward from there. But I can't believe that I scored all this for $100. I really can't. I mean, all of this, that box of parts over there, the two mini PCs, the first PC I showed you for nostalgic gaming. I mean, we scored big today. We scored big today at Sensation. We really did. I am super excited. I can't wait to do some bench testing and stuff to show you guys and gals on this. But these two, this one and that one, are not going to stay long. They're going to immediately get pictures and go up on Marketplace because I'd like to flip them and move on. Yard sales. Let me get back to that. Because this is where it happens at. Those videos are not getting views. The thrift store find and the estate sale finds. And I want to talk to you guys and gals for just a second about this. If I didn't do those things, that $100 deal would have never been found. That's a fact. So don't have too much pride that you don't want to check out what a yard sale has in it, or you don't want to go to a thrift store or an estate sale. Don't have that kind of pride because you're passing up deals. You are literally walking and driving right by them every day. You drive right by them every day. Don't do that. If I hadn't stopped at that moving sale just randomly, I would have never seen all these parts laid out there and put an offer on it, and they actually accepted it at $100. That's my whole point to this story. So we scored the mother load for $100 at a yard sale. We literally did. And we have some great PCs for content creating or whatever we need to do. But I'm doing this to show you what kind of deals that are actually out there at some of these sales. And when you drive by, look and see if there's any computer monitors or anything there. If there's a computer hiding there. You never know what you're going to walk up into at one of these sales. And those are safer than doing the marketplace deals, literally, because it's wide out in the open, right? In a driveway or the garage, and there's plenty of people around there. So it's a lot safer than meeting somebody sketchy on Marketplace. And I've done hundreds of marketplace deals and never had a problem, so I'm not going to bash it. Well, I won't say never. I'm going to show you a graphics card in a video that I might try to put in the oven to see if I can fix it, but it's got artifacts because the guy on Marketplace decided to rip me off. So that's a whole different story, though. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. This was at a yard sale, and at $100, I took a chance on it. I didn't know if anything worked. But when you got brand new EVGA power supplies in the box, there's a good chance that those are going to work. You know what I mean? There's a good chance out of the stack of hard drives that a couple of them are going to work too. And out of 3 PCs, there's a real good chance that you can build one of them. That's a fact. And I knew that, and I knew I would make money on it, even if I could build 1 out of the 3. But it turns out that there's enough that I can build 3 out of 3, and I got 3 working PCs now. Just off the parts that I got for $100. $350, $250. So if I take $300 and $200, that's $500. I make $400 on that deal. And I still got all these parts left over. Most of them. So that's going to do it. I'm going to keep the third one. Oh, and I got a text message, and it's a very good one because we got big things happening here today. The text message was from my mail delivery driver, who was kind enough to tell me there's a package in my mailbox. And guess what that package in my mailbox is? That's right. It's for our $50 Marketplace Score PC down there in the Cooler Master Hoff case. And that is going to be none other than an i7 CPU. So super excited to shoot that video for you. I have to charge the GoPro first, but super excited for that. Like, comment, and subscribe to the SimStation channel. That's how these videos are going to keep getting made. I want to see your interaction with them, and that's gonna drive me to do more and more. Comment down there. Let's communicate. Let's talk about this stuff. You don't know what to look for at a yard sale or estate sale or thrift store, let me know. I can help you out. I'll do videos on that. Heck, if they're okay with me taking cameras into the thrift stores and stuff, I'll take you with me. I don't find this stuff on every stop. I literally don't, but when you stop enough times, you're going to find it. These are brand new cases too, these mini cases. But when you stop enough times, you're going to find it. It's out there, guys and gals. Like, comment, subscribe to the SimStation channel. We're going to keep doing it, keep bringing you the content, and we will catch you on the next video.